Call the Morehaven City Council regular meeting to order for March the 6th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at City Hall. Roll call. Jake.
Present.
Alicia.
Here.
Mark.
Here.
Brad.
Here.
Clay's here. Ashley.
Here.
Steve.
Here.
And Larry's here. As long as Brad and 5 people in the audience. This time we'll stand for the invocation with Alicia, and I will lead you in the pledge.
Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you for this day you've given each and every one of us here tonight, Lord, and just thank you for all our blessings, Lord. I just ask that you watch over us and guide us and make the best decision for our community, Lord. I give you all the praise and glory. Amen.
Amen.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item number 3, additions, deletions, corrections to the agenda.
I haven't answered.
Okay, seeing none.
I need to add this to the bills whenever we get there. It's for the Microsoft subscription for the year. It got missed on the bills.
Can we just add it when we get there with that?
Just add it to the bill.
Yeah.
Yep.
Item number 4, discuss and or approve the following meeting minutes. February the 6th, 2024, regular meeting.
Motion to approve February 4th.
Motion by Mark,
Second.
second by Alicia. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Unanimously. Okay, item number 5, approval of proposal for engineering service with CAS and Associates for development of vulnerability assessment related to FDEP grant 23 PLN 110 in the amount of $200,000. Mr. Tibbs.
Like I said, the city did receive a grant of $200,000 from the Resilient Florida program, which is run by DEP. The county got the same grant. In fact, there was about 140 local governments that got grants through this program. But DEP wants, basically, they're looking at see what they can do about flooding and other issues. This is basically a planning grant where the engineers go out and identify any critical and regional what we do have to prevent flooding. They want topographic data and flood scenario related data that they'll compile and put together to send back to. Eventually, I think what the state's going to do is start coming up with like a master plan for each area kind of thing, and then we'll be able to apply for funding to further develop that. But it's one of those programs that's run by Resilient Florida. So we currently have CSA, Craig Smith and Associates, under our continuing service agreement. So we're piggybacking off the pricing in that continuing service agreement for this, to do this grant.
Motion to approve.
Basically, it's all studying. There's
No work done. Second.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Alicia. Any questions?
I don't support the water scam. I mean, they just flooded 16,000 acres in the woods. They keep the lake above where it's supposed to be. I don't know how much land they flooded out there due to, but I'm smart enough to know when it gets wet, go to high ground.
Yeah. You got any? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Motion carries 3-2. Okay. Discuss and or approve resolution number 2024-04.
This has to do with the CAPFA funding with regards to the Kissimmee Charter School Academy project. I could tell you that yesterday their board met and approved moving forward. And then Angela had conducted a tougher hearing, I believe on February 29th, if I'm not mistaken, and had no negative comments. So I'll go ahead and read it by title. And then I think what we're going to do is we're approving this resolution from the city council. And then on the next meeting date, which would be March the 16th, I think.
March 19th.
March 19th. We'll do a CAPA meeting. So this is resolution 2024-04, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Moorhaven, Florida, approving the issuance of Capital Projects Finance Authority Educational Facilities Revenue Bonds, Kissimmee Charter School Academy Project, and one or more series, authorizing such bonds to be issued on behalf of Imagine Kissimmee Charter Academy LLC for the projects to be located in Kissimmee, Florida.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2024-04.
Second.
Motion by Jake, seconded by Brad to approve resolution 2024-04. Do you have any questions?
Steve, if her board members, if that board approved it yesterday, will we be able to wait until the 16th to approve it through CAPA? or will it
I
slow
think
it
so.
19th.
Or the 19th. I think so. Ken's on vacation this week anyway. So I think it's probably, that's the next practical date. If something changes, I'll let you all know.
Both of those are just approved. You don't have to sign them yet. You can wait till the end.
Okay. All right. Do I have all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. All right. Discuss and review current funding status for the downtown improvement project.
There is a worksheet in front of you there. If we, in the top right-hand corner, this is how the grant was submitted. We submitted the grant for a total of $1,980 and $1,980.77. The breakdown of the total cost of construction is estimated to be $1,706,950. That estimate was probably developed about 2 years ago when that grant was, when we submitted for that grant. If you come over to the left-hand side, we got the $2,019,062 in funding. Looking at when we know that the geotech did not accurately reflect the cost of the project. So, when we did get the bid in for $1,662,525, that should have been, first of all, a couple of flags should have happened. Even though we know, like I said, the geotech wasn't done correctly. Our original construction estimate was $1,007,000, so that wouldn't have been feasible. That would have went down, even it would have went up. And if you come down, that's what really happened. The total construction now is $1,926,000, and our original estimate is about $1,006,000, so it's a difference of over $219,000. So, it would have been we would have found out sooner that there was that huge amount of increase if the geotech would have been right and they would have submitted the bid docs in accordance with that, the correct amount of the geotech. But we did, we did find out later. So, but I think the original intention all along was that we were going to do the project 100%, and that I don't think that we ever expected that we would not put any kind of funding into it, because, like I said, had the $1,009,000 and the $1,007,000, estimate, we probably would have had to put some money into that thing. Obviously, I'm not near the $900,000 that we originally pledged for that project had we not got the second grant. And then basically, this is how we got pay app 6 is on the agenda for tonight. So most of the pay apps up through 3 have been strictly from the bid. Pay app 4 and 5 started to include items for the change orders, and 6 does too. So pay to date, We have about $843,000 that would be paid today after pay up 6. We still have about a little $1 million to go. With the engineering and we bring the total construction and engineering costs up to about $2,199,358. So the cost overfund is right now about $180,926. So I would suggest that since the council's always been determined that we were going to do this project at 100%, and originally we pledged some ARPA money and also some CAFA funding if needed, that I would first suggest we use ARPA funding to fund this, since that's one-time funding and it's got a shelf life on it. So to cover this overrun of about 180,000. I just want to bring you updated on where we're at.
So the 180 is as of right now.
As of right now.
Okay, if we go in there next week, are we seeing anything that we may think we're gonna have to,
I don't
is
think,
there an expense that we don't see yet? That,
not that I'm aware of. The last thing that came up unexpected was out there was a water line, an old
right,
cast iron
Right.
water line that has to be taken out. Also, there was a line that was put in 2012. I think it's a 6-inch water line that was put in, and it was about 4 inches too high, so they couldn't lay the drainage pipe down. So that they had to cut out that and put a deflection down underneath the drainage pipe. So they finished that yesterday, and they were working on taking out the old cast iron where that is today. So that's, as of right now, those were two things that came up that was not originally planned. But like I said, one of the issues with the old cast iron line is just when they uncovered it, it's in such a shape. I don't think we wanted to leave it without repairing it. And the other line, like I said, there was no as-built. There was some final plans. There was no as-built to even tell what the elevations were on that line. So by going through this process, we now have as-built, so where the new section of the line is, we took the readings on that. So that's, as far as we know right now, that's the two remaining items, and they're in here. But that's the two things that's been uncovered as of recently. That.
and the engineering cost, not to cut you off, but the engineering cost is in here, correct?
The engineering costs are lump sum.
Okay, so the 180 is where right now is the overrun.
Yes.
How much do we have of the other fund before we have to go to capital?
We have
Enough?
We have enough to cover it.
we're doing water plants. We probably have 5, 6, 7,000.
And that's still being able to do.
Right.
Is that, go ahead, Inspector, please.
Go ahead, Mark.
Talk about the sidewalks, are we gonna be good there?
That
We-
was one of the changes.
Yeah, you brought up a good point. With the sidewalks, we have not, they have not provided us with an estimate on the sidewalks yet. There was it was requested, we have a 4-foot sidewalk all around, with, and the wider sidewalk coming up Riverside. We have not, got an estimate on that. So like I said, if, we'll.
There's a lot of sidewalk in there.
Yeah, man.
I thought that was in one of the changes.
I spoke to Wayland, and anything that they were gonna uncover, they've dug, they've uncovered it, unless it's underneath the sidewalk at this point. He doesn't expect any more change orders, even though they're gonna discover anyway. As Mr. Tibbs said, they've already started putting the fill back in the road. And I wanted to also say that some of these problems that we discovered in the beginning, like the drainage pipe for the library, definitely you would think they would stand out in front of that building and figure out where the drainage was supposed to go. The same with the electric across there. But what we found out were, once some of these things were finished, as Mr. Tibbs said, they had the plans, but they were never submitted into the as-built. So if they had the as-built, it wouldn't have shown that over there. It wouldn't have shown the transmission line. It showed everything up to where they were supposed to put it in the final paperwork. And that really, I don't believe was our engineers. I think that was because it's supposed to be stored down there. So I would have to say that was past employees just got caught up doing something else, and we're happy to have the project done and didn't come back and do it. The geotech, what was the dollar amount of that? Do you know by, I was looking on here, but
The geotech was 256,076
Okay.
was the geotech.
One thing to add to what you'd said in past meetings, Clay, is it's over-engineered. One thing about it, that we'd rather have it over-engineered than to be
Under-engineered.
halfway done so that it's still here long after we're gone. But at the same time, not only we're gonna have a solid street, but we're going to have updated as-built, which is something we have not had all the way around the park. And that's something that may start with us now. I'm still not happy with the liability of the core samples. I don't know if it's worth ruining our relationship between Craig A. Smith and the working relationship Ms. Van Ash has. But I do believe before the project's over, it needs to be brought to their attention.
At least brought to their attention.
And Stephen Smith, who's the owner of Craig A. Smith, called me on Friday, and it was indicating that, that they're aware that there were issues with the geotech, indicating that, that's not their normal operation kind of thing. And he's indicated that if any of the council wants to call him, he can talk to you directly. He has given his cell number, that if any of you, like I said, of course, obviously you have to go do that individually, but if you want to call him and talk about the project and your issues and concerns, he'd be happy to, he'll be happy to talk to you. But he's obviously upset too, because he considers that, particularly for the geotech, that there was obviously errors there, and that reflects on their firm, and he's obviously not happy with that either. So,
What did he mention, the sidewalks?
I don't, this
I mean,
gentleman,
because it's,
he's,
that kind of eats at me a little bit. I mean, how do you miss that?
this guy here, he's the head, these sidewalks might not be on his radar yet. And when I say that coming from, I want to say that this is, Gene Schreiner's son-in-law is who I believe this is. But Gene Smith, yes, sir.
Okay.
And I do plan on calling him.
Yeah.
But I wanted to find out what the council's concerns were after this meeting before I called and spoke with him. And it definitely sounds like the sidewalks needs to be, we need to move forward with, the sidewalks were one of the first things that we put on a change order. And I think we stepped away from that change order when we started finding dinosaur bones under the street. But we found all the bones we're going to find. So now I believe it's time to get them back on the ball with.
Well,
with this
and my
sidewalk.
concern always has been, Jake, look, when it's like I said the other night, when you go to bid a yard to mow, you can't come back 3 months later and say, I didn't spot spray it, or I didn't, that stuff they do every day.
Yeah.
And, when you go to a nice steakhouse and you order a steak, I'm using this as an example, and it's not like you don't wait till you get ready to pay the bill. You kind of say something right then. That's kind of how I am with this. If we don't say it now, well, then when we come up here at the end and say we're not happy, the first thing out their mouth is, or what I would have, well, why didn't you say something then?
And it sounded like with Mr. Tibbs' conversation that Mr. Smith was not happy with the geotech.
Yeah.
They had messed up before, but then when they got here, it was like, well, this might have just been the last straw right here. So I think we could start with the geotech to try and recoup some of our funds, or just to see what they'd be willing to do. And I can't make that decision, but I am going to reach out
we
to
can't say
him.
something.
He provided his number, so I am going to reach out.
and I'll give that to you for
But
And you know, 100 and take care of your eyes, people. $190,000 is a lot better than what we thought it was going to be. And in all fairness, you kind of thought you knew you was going to be a little over anyway. So you know,
and it's still a lot lower than 895.
Yeah.
What we had
Yeah.
said we were going to commit. That it's the heartbreak of it. You know, getting the second grant,
Yeah.
not having to mess with cap, then coming in $400,000 under bid, you know, added to the excitement, and then we started finding dinosaur needs. But
Yeah, it's just too bad there wasn't a drawing or something
Yeah,
around.
absolutely.
Somebody could have come up with
Yeah.
for that stuff.
that's all. I
well,
have
maybe
on
in the future we've learned from it, and
But we really didn't come in 400,000 under the thing because you got to factor in engineering.
the engineering part.
Parts too,
Yeah,
yeah.
So that-
that would have still pushed us right up there close to the
Yeah.
2 million.
okay.
Well, thank you for your report, Mr.
Thank you,
Tibbs,
Larry.
and any more change orders, just please right away let us know. But I hope
Make them
and we
minimum.
wanting to, we would like Mr. Tibbs to take the proper steps, reaching out to replace the 4-foot sidewalk, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, we gotta know about it.
Well, that was going to ask you. That's a state deal, though, right? There, the state's going to the 4 foot.
Yeah,
Isn't that the
all
state?
what is it?
Yeah.
Handicap.
Governing.
Sir? 88.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And it'd be best to do the sidewalk now before they put asphalt on it.
Exactly.
It would be a moment. Thank you for your.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Right along with the curb.
Yeah.
All right. Report of officers, item 8, report of officers. Larry?
see, Don't think I have anything else.
Okay. Does anybody got anything for Larry? Anything, B, city attorney?
Follow up on the 10th Street legal description. I was able to sit down with the surveyor, Hal Bennett and LaBelle. He's also working on the 5-foot, the 5-mile zone of protection for the city. And he's almost done with that. And then what he is going to do, he's going to make multiple blow up because there's so many, it's the legal description is so pervasive. To try to do it on a smaller sheet, it won't make sense. And then plus for presentation purposes, when I go to Glades County, it's easier for them just to visualize the particular area. So while we were trying to finalize that, we were talking about 10th Street. So really the street or a portion of that street would need to be vacated, would be the easiest way to do it. But typically when we vacate, 50% goes to one abutting landowner and 50% goes to the other abutting landowner. In this particular case, the property, which I think would be to the, I'll call it the south.
East.
Or I was going to say east. Okay, is Francis Maria Bryant of Duluth, Georgia. She owns like a parcel, and it looks like it includes some sort of wetlands, and this overlaps. I don't know how you want me to approach this, but certainly the easiest way is just to vacate whatever portion, but then you get into 100% when it go to the person who's requesting it. So I kind of have
we
like
need to-
just so it's hard, but
Yeah.
this is the adjacent property owner. This is 10th Street, and that's Mr. Smith's lot. So right, if we're going to do this part,
That just amazes me that a pond, that the people own that much of a pond. That just.
yeah, there's it looks like a single wide on the one corner of the property, but like 80% of it appears to
Is
be
water.
wetlands.
Yeah.
In essence, so
Would it be easier to
I can write
give
to her.
everybody that's
Can you-
on this
yeah.
piece of the property, give them the edge of the pond? Because the city owns the edge of the pond all right through there, don't they?
No, that's
No,
what, that's what the
he's
maps.
saying. Okay.
That's what I thought too.
I
Why
I mean,
would-
within the pond,
Yeah.
within, well, that's another story, but,
Okay.
What'd you say the name of the other property owner?
Bryant, I believe, Bryant.
Said
I
Francis
thought I
Bryant.
said Francis.
Yeah.
Bryant.
I
Yeah.
said
That ain't who I
Georgia.
thought. It ain't
It's
the
not-
same.
It's
Miss
probably two
Bryant
different
here.
ones.
Mm-mm.
Pardon?
I think it's two different Francis
Two different
Bryants.
Francis
Yeah,
Bryant.
because that one says they're from Georgia,
And
and then the other one is right here in town.
Wouldn't
It's
hurt
over
to
there,
ask
for
her.
sure.
Yeah. So I'll do it whatever way y'all direct me to do it, but that's pretty much how we'll have to approach the leases and
I would,
vacating the street, and typically we do that with an ordinance. So, more important, so,
so what's the easiest and fastest way to get it?
just to vacate by ordinance that part back of the street of 10th Street.
That's gonna take a couple meetings, isn't it?
Yeah, but
But would Mr. Smith get the whole thing?
well, that's my point is that typically we do 50-50. That's how that works. Now, I could write, maybe thought process, maybe I can write to her and see if she has any objection to Mr. Smith getting it all since he's been maintaining it. And
Exactly. And that's the second part of the question is, does she really want to maintain that small of an area? She's not going to want to bring a lawnmower all the way around the pond just to mow. What, Charlie, 30 feet?
like I said, I'll do it whatever way. I was just trying to think of different.
No, we have to do it that way or
Different
we violate,
approaches.
we break the ordinance, right?
Yeah, either do an ordinance or I could write to her and
Can
see.
you write, do y'all mind if he writes to her and let's see, can
I don't know if that might open a whole hornet's nest.
well, there, yeah. So,
Well, it looks like they just got that through probate too, that property.
I had run the.
And it doesn't have a home on it at all. It's vacant.
Oh, it is.
There used to be a home where that spot is shown on there.
Yeah. I was just going off the property appraisal
Mm-hmm.
site, and then yeah, I do have a deed that was done March 7th of 22 to Marcia S. Bryant Francis is how.
Miss Bryant.
It's good,
That's
yeah.
Francis Bryant that lives in Moorhaven. She won the Christmas decorating contest.
that's the same one?
God.
But it
No,
I
shows
think
it
two
was
different ones.
The girl that made it from Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah, it's two different ones.
Hand,
Well, that's
Oh,
the third,
okay.
that's the third Francis Bryant that I know.
no, not that one.
So you definitely met her and
No, no,
it's
no.
definitely different. lady.
No, no,
Okay.
yeah, different people, yeah.
Well, that settles that.
She's in Georgia.
I pulled it up on the property.
Does that
appraisal
piece
tomorrow.
make it where they could build on it?
No.
No.
Right, okay.
No, it's all, I mean, you know better than me, but isn't that property mostly wetlands?
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
walk off and you're right there in a pond.
I just didn't know
That's-
the
So it
amount
really
and
has no
for the
useful
lot beside.
No,
part to her. I mean, I could just do the ordinance and just, tweak it
Yeah,
a little bit. and
do
just
that.
do it like that, so.
just let's make this as painless as possible.
Okay. There's some other thing. Oh, on the church swap. So when I was getting it ready, knowing that the parcels we're receiving from the church, in theory, would ultimately be buildable parcels, and somebody's probably going to finance building that. The church, when I researched the church, they're incorporated, but they're like bare bones incorporated. So they don't have bylaws. They don't have really designated directors. So coincidentally, my paralegal knows the lady who acts for the church. So I think they go to church together. Because what I want to do is record an affidavit when we do the swap from the church side and have all the board of directors join in on that. So this way it's clear that the current board of directors is conveying the property. That's probably the closest I can get to getting it done without going in and doing the church's bylaws and things like that. So So that's essentially the status on that. And then a couple days ago, Angela, just FYI, had sent me an RFP from Saipan, where they're looking for some funding for electrical generating purposes. So our partner in Guam, the contractor, is going to bid on the project, and they want to team with CAPFA, similarly like we did in Guam, to bid for this project. So I told her I would run it by you guys, but I don't think you were going to have any issue with that. But that's the very general format. But that's how they were proposing to bid out there. The project's probably about 30 million, give or take. It involves a couple of different islands, which are U.S. territories, so we're able to do it. There's a couple different, it could be just a straight bond, revenue from the electrical generation and selling electricity, or maybe set up a special entity corporation again, like we have with the school in Guam. So I just wanted to give you the heads up that that's been broached at this point, and I'll keep you posted as to any progress or lack thereof on that. So I think that's it.
Okay, anybody got anything for Steve? Thank you, Steve. City Clerk, Ms. Wills,
You don't have anything,
you sure?
as far as I know.
Anybody got anything for Ashley? All right, Craig A. Smith, CAS,
She's kind of still in Tallahassee. The session closes on Friday.
okay.
So far, the only short thing that we've heard that's been funded is the wastewater treatment plant. It's probably gonna get 2.5 million for the expansion project. But that's something definite that we've heard.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, Brad,
I really don't have a lot. We're just trying to get back on track from the beginning of this week. Last week being Challenica, setting up, clean up and all that. We were kind of short staffed, trying to read meters and do all that stuff at the same time. It was kind of hectic. Trying to get back on track with that. The truck is down at EPG getting the tippers put on it. We've got to get all the cans put together. And I'm going to get with Ashley and see the best way to track those cans when we put them out, because they're going to come up missing or gone.
Yeah.
when,
I want to look at our garbage ordinance before.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I, with the big cans and the little cans, my question is, we can't charge the same rate for two.
The big cans is more than the limit that we have in our ordinance right now.
Okay.
In itself, just the can.
Just talking about-
We need to work on the ordinance.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think we've got a copy of Henry County's that we're trying to tailor ours to. But we still need to work on the ordinance because
The last time the garbage rules were updated
Um,
was 1980 something.
Mr. Mayor, I was gonna suggest, that, before that cap fell on the 19th, didn't you say it was the 19th?
Mhm.
If maybe we couldn't have a quick workshop to discuss these garbage.
On the 19th?
Mhm.
Yes. sir.
Yes.
Because I know Ashley's got a couple of pretty smooth ideas, like numbering them, putting our ordinance in there that lets you get your cans off the road and different things of that nature. And there's probably gonna have to be a little money.
Probably some discussion, some rules that we're gonna need to discuss. Yeah, Jake,
And that would.
do you want to make a motion on
Because he's
that?
not gonna be able to get the garbage cans put together. We gotta wait on the tippers, but with our input, as he's going through the Hendry County trying to mirror it, we might have some ideas possibly that he can rewrite into the ordinance. And then, like she just said, we haven't raised our garbage rates since '83.
Well, that's the garbage rules. The rates I think have been raised
Yeah.
since then, but it's been a
we
long
could-
time.
It's kind of like reestablishing,
Mhm.
rewriting the entire ordinance, I believe is
So
what's gonna take place.
My opinion, before those cans go out, we need to have something set in stone that we can deliver with the cans.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And I'd like to know how we're gonna, we'd all like to know how we're gonna distribute them, when it's gonna happen. So if we could set up a workshop. It doesn't have to be that long. I mean,
Yeah, you need do we need a motion? Just
So you
the
can-
19th, we're gonna have them. That's good enough for me.
and you'll just send us the times because we're gonna have.
Yeah.
cap-
Yeah, we'll have to figure out a time. I don't think we'll have a big CAPA agenda, so you can probably, just depends on how much you want to spend.
When I saw the big cans and little cans, I'm like, now how you gonna? Somebody's supposed to get mad.
I think
So-
Larry, he'll be able to explain all that. to
Yeah.
us by-
So if you like did the workshop at 6.
Yeah,
And then if CAPA is only gonna be literally just 5 minutes, we could just set that right before
Okay.
the regular meeting.
One tipper, take care of both sides.
It's one can on a tipper.
One on each corner.
Yeah.
It only takes one tipper on our machine is what I'm asking, right? The same one will take care of both sides cans.
Yes.
Both sides
Okay.
can't you? But keep in mind, that's the only truck we have with the tippers on it. If it goes down, you're going back to a regular truck, and guys picking up cans that are 95 gallons.
Mhm.
Another thing I wanted to say, they don't go into Fisherman's Village with that truck, do they?
No.
And we're still gonna have to do Fisherman's Village by hand then, right?
We use the little truck in there.
Yep.
Now, if they want to talk to Fisherman's Village about bringing them all to the end of the road on First, or I know those are kind of older.
I
folks
don't know if
that
some of
live
them
there.
people can drag them that
That's
far.
one.
That's the ones that we're thinking about the smaller
It would
ones
be
for.
the smaller cans, which will be a personnel issue when we get to have a breakdown or something. You have 2 people on the back of the truck pick up 1 can.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get that worked out maybe next year.
So you're on.
you got anything else?
This county did start spraying off and on in this kind of weather, the wind and everything. I think they've done 3 loads of their big trucks. That has been started. Other than that, I think that's about it.
Okay, anybody got anything for Brad? Thank you, Brad. All right, approval of bills in the amount of $91,554.73. That's adding $138.49.
it's for the Microsoft subscription for the year. It didn't get conveyed over to Vicky, so it also got a late fee and a service charge on it that has to be paid.
The question, are we gonna reimburse this from CAPA, the 63,000?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Yes.
I was like, what are we talking about? The cans, yes.
That was in the budget that we approved this year.
Motion to approve the bills, pay the bills.
Motion by Mark to pay the bills.
As amended.
Second.
Second by Alicia. Any question? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, 9A, approval of pay request number 6 to Ridgedale and Sons for the downtown project in the amount of $192,590.63.
Motion.
Motion by Jake, second by Brad. Any question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Citizen comments, general concerns, speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Speak now, forever hold your
Peace.
peace. All right, thank y'all for coming. Mayor and council to give reports. All right, Jake.
We haven't had a Challenger committee meeting until tomorrow, so I don't have any numbers or can't give you the final. I would like to wait until my next meeting to give a report on Challenger and thanking everybody for all their help and everything they did to help make the festival go on. I know we did some work in the bathrooms, Brad, up there, and I see that you got the women's. I see the lock started working. It's locked now, and we've had trouble with locking both those doors. I was going to ask you if you couldn't put locks on like that at the ball field, just that clasp folds over and put a circle lock on it just to keep them shut throughout, because we went up there and cleaned them, and then the food distribution came up there. They went right in there and destroyed them, and you had to come back up there. And on food distribution days, they're more than welcome to use our bathrooms, but they can clean them when they're done. That's a favor to them by letting us, but I'd like to see, get the locks fixed on it. The end of Avenue M, right where the elementary school exit is, if you could get some cold patch, I know you've done it 1,000 times, but it's a huge pothole now. Right at the end of Avenue M by that batting cage where you turn right to go, or be at the backstop where you turn right to go in front of the elementary school. Right across from the school parking lot there. The Veterans Memorial, I want somebody to get me some prices, get somebody out here. I want to put stucco like we talked about to finish it up. We're closing in on the street project. I don't know how long it's going to take somebody to come for us to pick the contractor. I don't know if that's something that the guy you use to do everything else can. I want to stucco those piles, yes, sir. Mr. Moon, I see on here you have a clean and mow vacant business. Is that the old Moorhaven restaurant?
Yes.
Okay, if you remember the Moorhaven restaurant, for years and years, we beat on them about boarding up fixing the windows. They boarded the windows up, but there is a deadline on how long, there's a code enforcement deadline on how long you can keep those boards on that window. And I believe it was a year. If you would, and I got this from the building department at Susan Rashawn's office when we started this, if somebody would check in on,
The last we were in court, the gentleman's an older gentleman and he asked for some time. So
Yeah.
that's obviously been a long time. I think my memory is that we already have sanctions in place. So theoretically, I could start a foreclosure on that property. And
unfortunately, Mr. Lee's not getting any younger, and that property it worked out when he let somebody park the semi there. They kept it mowed, but you see it's back on the list again.
But excuse me, 1 minute. But you're right. Aren't we still fining them on a daily basis? So at this point, I know
set
it's
it for a hearing, we'll get a monetary judgment and then we'll have to
And you
move
can-
forward.
And you could add the more code enforcement on it also because of the windows.
That's kind of piling on at that point, because I'm sure the daily fine is tenfold on the value, but at least then maybe it could get turned over and somebody will want to bid on it and it's a commercial piece and they could do something.
So
with the
what-
business.
it'd be hard to find out I'll call you tomorrow. I'd like to know just for myself what the
Yeah, I have to go.
We'll
fine.
have to go back to the last date that
Yeah.
Felicia did it for and
That's
see
been
what it is.
2 years ago,
It
right?
was
How
right
long-
before
how long
she
has
She's
it
left.
been here a year, Chalanicki.
Yeah. So, yeah,
But let's get that back on the radar.
Yeah.
I appreciate you having it on the list. I've been waiting
Yeah.
to see if he'd do something with those windows, but I just knew it wasn't. And now that it's back on the list, I'm gonna do something just because of the windows. All right, I know at the last meeting, Mr. Baez had some time to start getting his stuff in order down there and making a plan, and the grass isn't mowed down there again, and there's nothing been moved. So I know you're waiting for the process.
Isn't tomorrow the 30th day from when the judge signed the order?
Easily.
Oh, there
Well,
you
you see, I submitted it, but he didn't sign it for 2 weeks. That's the problem.
I want to say it was like the 6th or something, but I'm not
Yeah,
100%.
in my head, my clock went off.
well, the date's the 6th,
So
so.
we
Well,
were.
my clock went off this morning, and I think it's tomorrow. It's technically the 30th day.
Well, time's about
Now
to
that I
change.
jinxed
so we'll
myself,
have
file
Monday to
an
work
appeal
on this.
tomorrow, but because he usually files on the 30th day. So.
So we'll, let's.
There's also an eviction that Miss Ogletree has
Yeah.
commenced because of the same issue. And now with the code enforcement order, so we're trying to get a trial date from the judge to get this properly cleared up once for all. Because I'd also been in contact with, if you guys recall, for the property next door, Mr. Alvarez, on some of that underground contamination where they were starting to do some work up on the cleanup. But I'd like to get hopefully ultimately somebody, going at least to take a look at it from her perspective, so she can maybe do what she needs to do to get that issue resolved and make it a marketable piece of property. Right now, it's
So-
above and below ground, it's not marketable. So
There's we have a brownfield seminar.
Oh, good.
Week after next,
She
so
needs
that's
to
one of
be
the
there.
keys. Yeah, okay, so that's one of the properties we can
She
identify.
needs to be there, yep.
yeah, so as soon as
All
we can get a court date on the eviction, that's probably, I don't want to jinx myself, but that's probably the most expedient way to.
He's past the 30
But
days.
is he? Are you sure with the
Commencing January 24th, 2024. 30 days commencing that date.
Yeah, but my point is that the judge didn't sign the order till then, so it's technically
February 6th today. A whole
Well,
month
tomorrow.
since today's the 6th. A
Yeah,
whole
but
month.
you count starting the following day.
Okay.
So
Well,
tomorrow's
So
the 30th.
let me ask you something. If I'm assuming he is off the radar, he's vanished, or is he still around?
No, he's still around.
So
We're still filing
if
stuff.
if they kick him off the property.
Yeah,
and he
then it's gonna
leaves,
be a big
now-
headache
Now
for-
we've got another mess.
That's why
Deal
we,
with.
we need to get all the teeth we
Yeah.
can into this, especially with the next time we go to court. Because he's been known to do this on other pieces of property.
My
Well-
question is, though, if he does what I think he's gonna do,
Well, it's
The
gonna be a
cleanup's
big
on
headache on the
us.
cleanup, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not on us,
It's on
technically, I'm
Miss
Ogletree,
Ogletree.
but it's obviously still falls,
It's gonna be us.
yeah, falls back. And then, like I said, you have above ground issues and below ground issues, and there's significant issues either way, but we can only take it step by step, so. So tomorrow's the 30th day.
All right, so you got those two things for me for us on your list. Last thing I had, Brad, was your pole change outs that you were gonna get a price on. Just from mowing around town, I see poles in some places that acquire more moisture. So my question was, on some of the pole change outs, would it be better to go to the metal poles that you've been using? that
No.
You had put in town on a few of them. I mean,
We can, I have to look at.
I'd say that might be an option, so we don't have to, yeah.
Yeah.
They are very
But so we
expensive,
don't have
but
to
they're long
replace, and if
lasting.
it's a major one, of course, you know.
You gotta
So,
look at the material that you got.
That thing's
on.
broken.
You gotta do
Yeah, it's broken.
roll straps, you gotta do
okay,
everything different.
okay.
It's not just the pole you gotta change. it's
All right.
the Material. you
Well, I
gotta-
don't know electricity, but I just, if you think it would work and last us longer or something, please suggest it.
Then right after Hurricane Ian, we increased the inventory of poles we have over there by quite a bit too, so
Yeah.
we still have a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
there
we
we
have.
probably need to
I know,
use.
I know.
Years before we go, okay, I got you. All right, I'll have a report for you, John, next time I'm here.
just off the top of your head, how do you think it went?
I had more parade entries. I had it's $2 to get in the gate. I had over $5, so we had over there was over 3,200 people that paid, plus however many shirts she sold. You get in free. I mean, it was a
I
lot.
heard the last
The
one.
parade seemed to me like, when we were
Oh,
going down the
color.
parade
I
route,
don't like the color.
this side of
That
town,
color.
normally in the past, this has always been the busier side. And as you got that way, it kind of, this year, it seemed like it was totally backwards. It was hit and miss this way. And then when you got about the courthouse,
I think some of them
picked
were.
up.
I think some people were concerned about it was the parade lineup, not the parade route. And I think some people moved down that direction because they knew we were going that way.
Mhm.
And there was just so much congestion here with the road. I think that's possibly.
which actually I like the way it turned out. I'd rather it be at the end. That way, if we got enough candy left over, Mark's got something to throw at. So
It was good. I'll have
Yeah.
Mhm.
as soon as my John secretary gives me some stuff, I'll report it.
okay, Jake, you good? Anybody got anything for Jake? Alicia,
I'm good.
Mark,
I'm good.
Brad?
Right, were you able to get some quotes on that pavilion up here?
replacing the wood stuff?
We're gonna put the regular handrail, I don't know if we'll actually order it yet.
Not quite yet. I'm still catching up, but I'm working on it.
That's all I have.
Okay, and I'm good for tonight. Discuss financial statements if needed. And item 13,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor?
Can I,